I'm still looking at the joint sideways because I'm like, ooh, you got all that and you knew? Mm-mm. How is that? Because over there at Puffy House, he got all his new artists sleeping on his floor, washing their asses in the sink.
I don't hear nobody out there. Hold it down. Hold it down.
Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share the Facebook, subscribe, and tip your favorite narrator at $NAROB on YouTube via Cash App. And if you are not already a part of this book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. Now, let's continue reading Who's That Girl? Eve, a memoir. I had to get the dog some new coats because it got real chilly in the morning down here in Georgia. I got him like some neon pink hoodies because my wife, she is a breast cancer survivor. Once I stopped dancing, I was on track to figure out my career in a different way, and NYU was back on the table. I was ready to pursue that degree in special effects makeup, so I found myself back in New York City and ready to start my application for school, which ironically never happened. But after Mace basically changed my life, and one night I knew I had to keep music somewhere at the forefront, even if I was going to school too. I wasn't going to let all of that valuable time in New York go to waste, especially when it was the mecca for hip hop at the time. So I did what any completely sane individual would do. I stalked music industry executives. My favorite person to harass was Mark Pitts. Back then, he had just left Bad Boy and started Mark Pitts Management. It's called by Storm Entertainment now. And I would literally pull up to his office with my demo and just sit there waiting for him to listen to my tape. Things are so different now. You know what I'm saying? Like, just upload it on a tiki-taki, and baby, if it hits, it hits. And then the record execs, because I know that's all they do. They have somebody, you are the executive and CEO of the tiki-taki. Anything that goes viral, I need you to contact them people and give them the absolute minimum. It's easier now to find talent. I did this almost every single day. Eventually, I became an office fixture. I don't even know what I had hoped would happen if I did that. Maybe that I'd get signed or get a super high level manager. After 2 months of dancing and 2 months of plotting my next moves, I received a phone call that changed my life. Up until that point, I didn't really have a manager, even though I wanted one. Hence my Mark Pitts stalking sessions. There would always be some random drug dealer or street dude ready to help me out with something, but never a legitimate person whose purpose was to represent and advocate for me. So one day my homegirl called me and said, "These two dudes want to know if you still rap." I mean, I did, but I had sort of resolved that maybe it wasn't going to happen on the timeline, and I'd had in mind since I was 14. "Yeah, I do. Why? What's up?" Okay, first of all, the situation that she's about to get into, I don't know if I could go there. because I have so much, let's say, distrust in men that has nothing to do with me deciding to marry women. I just seen a lot of ugly. I grew up in the hood, and remember, I come from a time where the grape culture it is what it is. Okay. And I've had situations where I've had men that I literally trusted and considered my brothers come to me one day, point a gun in my face and say, it's your script. How's it going to end? So anyway, let me tell you the situation with Eve. The two dudes had said, look, I'm going to get you close to the right-hand man of Dr. Dre. I'm already not liking the situation when I'm reading it, right? Because years ago, back when I was reading Corinne Steffens, we named Thick Thighs Diddy for a reason. Because we knew he had demonic behavior. Why? Because I found out years ago from somebody who told me that Diddy used to beat up on Misa. So once I found out that, or had that little piece of information, I was like, I don't like him. He ain't no good guy. Please don't like him. Because one of my Judys loved that thick-thighed demon. These two guys had a way to get Eve connected to the guy who was Dr. Dre's right-hand man. That's another nigga that can't keep his hands to himself. He's another demon I'm waiting to fall. Fall, bitch, fall. Dr. Dre's right-hand man at the time, this is during the Aftermath label time, was Mike Lynn. The two dudes had said, this is what you gonna do. We gonna plot like you just here with us, hanging out with us. When for real, while he is not paying attention, you gonna jump out and you gonna bust a funky dope lyric on his ass. Once we walked in, the dude started playing a beat and I just started rapping my ass off. Mike is standing there like, what the F? Once I stopped rapping, one of the dudes named Mark Byers tells Mike, look, I know you didn't want to hear anyone else, but she's really good. Mike agreed with Mark. He said to me, nah, you're like really dope. So dope that he called Dr. Dre right on the spot and said, I think we found our girl. By the end of that week, I was on a flight to Los Angeles. As soon as the plane landed on a Friday, I was studio bound with the producer mailman to cut my demo. It was a self-titled song called Eve of Destruction. Yeah. Hold on though. I mean, he set her up real good. He made sure that she had her own bank account, her own condo, all of her own. I'm still looking at the joint sideways because I'm like, ooh, you got all that and you knew? How is that? Because over there at Puffy House, he got all his new artists sleeping on his floor or in the studio, washing their asses in the sink. How Eve get her own bank account and her own condo? What is this about? It was a movie called Bullworth. She was on the soundtrack for Bullworth. Eve thinking that she had made it. I'm in the money. I've got a lot of what it takes to get along. Nah. Don't forget, she fucking went to Dr. Dre. When I said on the song, I'm in LA now with Dre now, ain't coming back cause I'm stuck, I really believed that. I thought I was perfectly fine, and in one whirlwind weekend in LA, I was where I had hoped to be all along. Girl, this Dr. Dre. This Dr. Bang Bitches Dre. A lot happened in a short amount of time. We cut the demo. I got signed. I flew back home and had a going away party, and then I was right back in LA, ready to be the first lady of Dre's Aftermath Entertainment.
Don't forget this is Dirty Dick Dre.
I spent around 8 months in LA, and in my mind, I didn't accomplish what I wanted to at all. I felt myself just hanging around and waiting. You know why? Because that goddamn Eminem was in place. He was the number one priority. That Slim Shady LP launched Aftermath into the stratosphere. Dr. Dre will always get paid off of Eminem. Eminem will always get paid off of 50 Cent. Then the Philly jumped right out of me, and I started pulling up to other artists' studio sessions trying to get my moment. They knew I was good, great in fact, so what was the problem? I'd literally just show up to a random session like, okay, so when do I record? Am I going to get to record too? Where's my studio time? I guess you could say that my timeline and Dre's timeline were not in sync at all, to say the least. And it wasn't long before he was completely annoyed by me. He didn't see the investment potential because he was too invested in other artists. And then it happened. I received a phone call from someone in Dre's camp breaking the news to me that I had been dropped from Aftermath. He didn't even do it himself. Oh, you expect too much from a nigga. You expect too much from him. Wife beaters ain't good people. That's not what they do. She went back home, feeling depressed and dejected. Remember she said she wasn't coming back? She had to come back. Depression set in quickly, and I wouldn't leave the house. I couldn't find the words to tell anyone what had happened and how fast it had been taken away from me. It was the kind of failure that I never thought I'd experience, but I did. The highs and lows were frequent during that period. Before I even got my Aftermath deal, Scott Storch had called me with an opportunity to record a verse for the Roots on their upcoming single, You Got Me. After loving the Roots for so long, this was such a big deal to me. Getting on a song with Black Thought, my rap crush. It was crazy. So I went to the studio and laid down my verse. I was also invited to come shoot the music video with them too, but when I got to the location, there was no music video set. That's dirty. Somebody messed up or somebody didn't want me there, and I was given the wrong address, and the shoot went on without me. Months later, when the track released, my name wasn't even in the credits. Everyone thought it was Erykah Badu rapping. How? That don't sound like Erykah Badu. I don't know about that, Eve, but okay, if that's what you say. It was as if they figured, who cares? She's unsigned, though in the span of recording that song and it releasing, I actually was unsigned. Signed and then signed again. My absence from the video didn't help either. My total disappointment from that whole experience later peaked in 2000 when the Roots won a Grammy Award for Best Rap Appearance by a Duo or Group for that very song. And I didn't because my name wasn't credited on it. Years later, Questlove tried to give me his Grammy for the song when I appeared on Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. But his was broken in half, and by then I had my own Grammy. Yeah, you keep your fucking Grammy. When they pulled Questlove or whoever, Questlove ain't Black Thought, but anyway, when they pulled the Roots on stage and gave them the award, they should have said shout out to Eve. She was in her feelings about that. Fuck your Grammy. I already got a Grammy. Your Grammy. DMX never called me Eve. He called me Evening.
Hollywood, lovely white line, baby Karen. Hallelujah.